Hi, class. Welcome to the lecture for the day. As I mentioned, we are going right into career and major planning. And I thought as we transition into career, that I just give you a little bit of background on some theories on career counseling and career development, just to kind of give you a foundation because there will be some assessments that we'll be taking and some exploration that you'll be doing. And I'm hoping just kind of giving you a little bit of background will give you some context into the rationale as to the approach that we take to help you kind of develop and explore careers and majors. So again, we'll give you a little overview on career development. We'll start with one of the pioneers, and that's Frank Parsons. So for Parsons, Parsons likes to start with looking at an individual's personality traits first off, and then secondly, looking at the character traits of the job, and then doing what's called trait and factor. So taking a look at the person's personality traits and kind of matching that up or comparing that to the characteristics of the job, right? So with Parsons, Parsons really believed in having a clear understanding of oneself, one's attitudes, one's abilities, interests, ambitions, limitations, and there are some critiques. So some of the critiques of kind of Parsons' trait and factor, other than being like an older theory, is that definitely considering environment and cultural considerations can be overlooked. Also, the fact that people's traits can change, and sometimes values are also not considered and also overlooked too. But that is one way, is the trait and factor theory to kind of determine a career or a major pathway. Then there's Donald Super, and Super kind of talks about different stages, kind of with a lifespan development view of things. So growth stage is from birth to age 14. Where folks kind of develop their sense of self and attitudes towards work. And from age 15 to 25 is the exploration phase, where you're taking classes in school, your hobbies come into play, your areas of interest, you gain job experience, and can kind of use those factors to determine kind of a career. And then the establishment phase, ages 25 to 44, where you can really refine your skills on a job and gain experience, right? Then the maintenance phase from 45 to 64, these are stages where you may look for a career advancement, kind of sometimes the peak earning years. People may change their position or try to advance. And then it transitions into the decline, and that's ages 65 and up, where people maybe work less and kind of plan and prepare for retirement. So, a lot of the students in the class are right now are either in the exploration phase, maybe some in the establishment phase, maybe some in the maintenance phase as well. But that, I think those three make up a majority of the students in our class right now. Another big one that we'll be discussing is John Holland. So with Holland, there's going to be quite a bit, especially as we use eureka.org and kind of take a look at some other assessments that we'll be doing, like the strong interest inventory. It's good to get a grasp of John Holland's career theory. So John Holland was a professor emeritus at Johns Hopkins in sociology. And again, with Holland, says career choices based on personality types, and all folks can be kind of described by a combination of two or three of six personality types, right? People, environments, jobs, majors, they can be kind of coded by these types. And usually it may be a good match to find one's coded type and match that up with a work environment of that same coded type. And Holland's big thing is folks are more likely to be satisfied and productive in their work if it's a good fit between their personality, interests, and their environment. And folks actually will have more career satisfaction doing stuff that they are interested in and that they have skills in. Okay, so these are the types, and we'll go through each one. Realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. So we'll start with the realistic. Realistic folks kind of like to work with their hands, tools. They like to make things. Sometimes they like to work alone, doing manual and mechanical things or physical things. So an example might be like an automotive mechanic is an example of a realistic kind of field. The next one is investigative, typically liking to work with abstract ideas and concepts, can be good at math and science, have good observation skills, may like to tend to work alone, kind of be curious and studious. So that's kind of that investigative side, right? Another type. Next type is artistic, kind of tending to be imaginative and spontaneous, may have talent in one or more art forms and like to entertain and work with ideas and people. You can see the creativity and free thinking, maybe have skill sets in language, and liking creative ideas and that are free from maybe a routine. Social, those are the helpers, right? They like to help in a variety of ways and kind of work face to face, and again, take great value from assisting and helping people. And examples of this can be teaching, nursing, personal counseling, developing the ability to work with people and help people. And then there is enterprising. These are folks who love to work with people in an influential kind of management style with a lot of value placed on authority, in some cases power and money. Some characteristics include ambition, kind of being outgoing. So an example of this might be, say, a CEO of a company or the President of the United States, where they like to have that influence and power and have that energy and be kind of out in the forefront. Okay, and then the last one is conventional. So kind of liking things in a clear and orderly way, kind of using their math skills, record keeping, tends to be responsible, dependable, and detail-oriented. Really good example of a career in this is accounting, because of the rules and regulations as well as the attention to detail. So just to give you a visual, and this is to give credit, is from the University of Wisconsin's career site. There you can see the realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional in Holland's hexagon there, right? But there are other things that we have to think about as we go forward in the section on career development and theory. And one of the real things is really, the culture and also representation. And what I mean is, like, the gender representation, the history of representation of race and ethnicity in certain occupations, the parental influence. What has your exposure been to certain careers and fields? Sometimes this can be influenced by families or work history of parents or grandparents. And sometimes also the influence of your parents can really determine, or your guardians can really determine and influence career choice. And Anne Rowe kind of talked a little bit about that. She was a prominent female career theorist, and that could actually lead into choosing person-oriented or non-person-oriented jobs. And person-oriented means working with people directly and interacting regularly with people, and non-person-oriented more kind of working on your own or individually. Other things we're going to look at and utilize, again, all of this is information, not necessarily being prescriptive, in finding a major or career, is the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator Assessment, which is an assignment and an assessment which you'll take in this class, and the Strong Interest Inventory. And we'll go into more detail in upcoming lectures on the MBTI and Strong. Okay? So just a couple of really great resources that we do have are ONET, the Occupational Informational Network, where you can really research kind of careers and pay and job outlook. Of course, Eureka, which is an assignment that you're either finished working on or currently working on, which is due this week. There's also a book by the late Dick Bowles called What Color is Your Parachute? There have been multiple iterations and editions of the book, and the newest is the 2019 edition that has been kind of updated. But there is also kind of a video that I've posted on Canvas, just a 3-minute video to check out with the late Dick Bowles. If you have a little bit more time, I suggest check out the talk he did at Google. It's about a half hour on just kind of finding the right career for you and what are you going to be doing in the next 5 years, which is pretty cool. And then lastly, Focus to Career is a resource that you have for free as a CSM student. So I've actually given you access to Focus to Career. There's also a sheet that I can get to you with a QR code where you can access Focus to Career. But really, you should be able to just click the link on the Canvas module. But Focus to Career will kind of give you exposure to work interests, personality, your hobbies, your values, and your skills, and kind of looking at those kind of in a more informal way, but again, as tools to help get you thinking about kind of careers and majors. So I really look forward to kind of closing out this semester by focusing on careers, and we're also later going to do resumes, cover letters, learn about tools like LinkedIn as well. So just thought that this would be a good foundation. So I look forward to discussing this and going forward with you on Canvas.